Welcome back to another episode of Ways. My name's Mohammed. I'm here with Osama. Make sure to follow Ways at Ways 2.0 on Instagram. Follow Osama at Kusa300. You can follow myself at Mohammed.global. New episodes every Wednesday. If you want to listen to us, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, and other various platforms. Thank you guys so much for the love, support, and feedback. It's all about having beautiful guests, conversations, and just enlightening our audience as we grow further. Osama, we have a special guest today. Please tell the audience about who we have on today's
Yes,
episode.
sir. Our special guest today is called Hani, and I want to just tell a little backstory on how I found this beautiful and amazing gentleman. I got to know him actually like almost a couple weeks before this podcast. So we were on. I was going on Instagram and I go on, and then Ion Resources. Like a shout out to them for like making this. I guess subliminally making this thing happen because they shouted this guy's put this guy's music video out called Hero. Guys, go check it out. I'll put the link in my bio, and I'll also I've already and I'll share it on my story for you guys to see. And then I hit him up like, "Hey, Hani, I love your music. It's about Palestine for people who do not know that. Obviously, Palestine for the past couple months and continuously has been going through a lot of stuff." And he showed love, and I said, "Hey, we'd love to bring you on our podcast." And we had a discussion a few days ago on what we'd like to talk about. We found amazing similarities. It's almost like a brotherhood at this point. So, Hani, I want to welcome you, bro, to our podcast.
Thank you, Mo and Osama. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk, chat. You guys are like brothers. Short time that we've known each other, but let's just make it long term. Let's get it going.
Exactly. And I would love for you to like tell everybody where they can find you at. Shout out your social medias, your YouTube, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. So initially, just on all streaming platforms, if you just search Hani, that's Hani space letter A, Hani A, you could find all my music videos, and podcasts as well, all on all streaming services.
What's the name of your podcast? Let the people know about the name of your podcast and what do you guys talk about? I guess like a short snippet.
Yeah, so our podcast is between me and my cousin Bshara. The podcast is called Here to Talk. So that's here, HEAR, to TWO, talk. Here to Talk. Two cousins talking about all things political, music, business, culture. We just talk about everything from praying and the importance of prayer to just the most funny stories. I'm a little nervous about putting it out there because I'm vulnerable on that podcast. But guys, go listen, enjoy, and more to come for sure.
I guess my first question for you would be, what is the importance of family to you? Because the last time we spoke, we had a pre-conversation, obviously, and he talked about like, hey, I don't have friends or associates, like either your family or you're not.
No, I feel like, and you guys can agree with me or not, but people grow apart from one another, and it's the truth, it's reality. And all my life, I've been surrounded with cousins, brothers, sisters, and at the end of the day, no matter what it is you go through, the only people that will be there for you through hard times or not is just your family, right? You can agree with me on that.
We spoke about family a lot now, obviously how it's important because I remember the one thing you said to me when I first spoke to you before the podcast, and everybody is like actually resonated with me because I kind of feel the same way. You're like, I don't have friends, I have family. And I know how, to me, that's a lot because a lot of the times, a lot of people think that friends are always going to be there for them, but friends come and go. Friends are like seasons. Like, they're not really meant to stay in your life. But when you have those friends who become family, the ones that are going to be there for you, that's, to me, what I mean. They kind of, and I want to go talk about one of your a few of your lyrics.
Let's go.
One, so this guy has a lot of good songs, ladies and gentlemen. But this is one that actually stuck with me. It's the song "I'll Be Good." You're like lying to my face. No wonder why I. Oh my. No wonder why I never give a
I know
fuck.
you're not. That's how I know you're not an artist, man.
Hey, bro, listen. I'll leave the artistry for the artists.
Background
Peace of
singer.
peace of mind was never peace of mind. Love is blind, but I was pleased to find that your love was an act, and my heart had no place in strings attached, stands in probation. To me, that like struck a chord. You want to
Yeah,
explain
man.
those lyrics and how where those
It's
came from?
that song "I'll Be Good" is a mess. Initially, I mean, I never really discussed what it meant. I try not to explain that side of things. I feel like personally, and we'll get more into it. Every song I've ever recorded has two perspectives. It has my perspective that the listener will never find out until they listen to this podcast, and then there's their perspective where they try to sort of make up what's going on, right? Because I don't. Some things could be very very personal, and you don't always necessarily want to share that. And with that being said, it's like I'll Be Good was a song for a lot of my boys at the time, a lot of females that I've known at the time, and it was just more or less, don't worry about me, I'll be good. And the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, if you break off a relationship, a friendship, a brotherhood, something with someone in your family, the heat of the moment will always be there because that's a discussion between two people. But when you guys break off, you always want to know what that person is thinking, and that person wants to know what you're thinking. They want to know how you're doing, and you want to know how they're doing. I've learned as I've grown up, don't worry about me, I'll be good. Keep that to myself, because silence is so deadly to people. People always want to know your business. Social media is a prime example. So don't worry about me, I'll be good. That's sort of the whole point of the song.
I think that's a beautiful point and perspective. One thing I want to ask you is, almost as an artist, it's pretty cool how you said two perspectives, one for the audience and one for yourself.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a situation where you're like making a song and you felt like it was so personal and so vulnerable? It's like, you know what? I cannot release this to the public, because even though it's two sides, someone, maybe my friends or my family member, might know, and I don't want to deal with that as far as explaining it to them. So I can't release it to the public because it's just too vulnerable for myself.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I think Osama posted it to his story just to sort of promote this podcast. On my latest project, which is my first album called Rebirth, the last song on that album is called Rebirth, self-titled. And that is the only song where I rap. That is the only song that doesn't necessarily have to do with heartbreak or love or whatever you want to sort of put into that perspective.
Yeah.
Rebirth is strictly about anxiety, depression, mental health, facing demons. And that's the most vulnerable I've ever gotten, because there have been times where people talk about mental health. What is that thing? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Bell Let's Talk. Hashtag
Bella
Bell Let's
Talk,
Talk.
Yes.
every January.
That's the only time. That's the
Uh,
only time this population, these people, these humans care to talk about mental health.
Mhm.
It's not true,
it's
bro. I
yeah.
mean, who are you to talk about it once a month? If you care about it, talk about it, because there's people going through it. So I've been an advocate for it. I'm someone who deals with it. So I wanted to write that song. I did not want to put it out, but my cousin told me put it out. It's a very strong song. So we made a lyric video for it. I plan to make a music video for it, and that video is going to be very simplistic, all black room, one light, vulnerable, maybe showing like no shirt at all, just to sort of show myself,
Yeah.
my true self, being vulnerable and raw to the world. And that's sort of how I want to put it out there, because that song talks on mental health, and that's that one song that speaks vulnerability to, for me at least.
I want to go back to your song Rebirth. I'm not sure you guys spoke about or touched on it, but the lyrics touched me the most because obviously we spoke about like depression and mental health before this phone call. I mean, before this interview.
Yeah,
And you said, "Let me tell you something about me. Living in a world everybody would doubt me. Demon on my shoulder telling me loudly, never gonna make it. Let me tell you something about me. Living in a world where everybody would doubt me. Demon on my shoulder telling me loudly, never gonna make it. No way living without me." To me, that's record core. I've obviously went through mental health myself. And I feel that, as you said with Bell Let's Talk, they don't actually speak about it as much. They only have 1 month dedicated, as opposed to it should be dedicated throughout the whole year, every single day. We had an
Mhm.
actually we actually had an episode about it with our some guest. Her name is Claudia, and she obviously an advocate for mental health. And we spoke how people really don't give it that much attention. It's almost as a stigma of going through mental health, when realistically, when you go through it, you become a better person out of it, right? So that, to me, just, I want to say, like, struck a chord with me, and like that's something I live by. Those lyrics right there till this
that
day.
that song is like very, very personal. Like, I didn't write that song as a rap song. I did not write that song to a beat like I normally do. I just sat there and I wrote down my pain. I wrote down a message to my family. I wrote down a message to my friends. Like, if you guys don't know what's going on, God forbid, knock on wood, I'm not going to say anything, but God forbid that mentality took over me. It's like, this is my final message. So like, but like you said, the lyrics goes, let me tell you a little something about me. Living in the world, everybody would doubt me. A demon on my shoulder telling me loudly, you ain't never gonna make it. No way living without me. So it's like a constant battle with this demon-like voice in my head. But then the verse 1 and verse 2 is the message talking about how I overcome that, how I'm stronger, how I defeat you, how I put you down, how I stepped all over you and I like spit
Yeah.
on you kind of thing. So yeah, that song was very important because that's the whole point of rebirth. It's I've grown again. I'm back. I'm out of that dark hole I've been in, and Hani 2.0 kind of a thing.
That's amazing how you put that out there. Like you called it rebirth. It's almost like it's almost like a second chance at life, a second chance at opportunity.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
and that's because you see obviously a lot of people when given that second chance or given the opportunity, they don't take it. And obviously people who are because there's a lot of people who go through mental health problems. Like I'm not like there's a little bit stronger because like they know they want a better life, but it's just like how do I go about it, right? And obviously I feel you said to me like to Mo the other day how you don't care to be famous, you don't care for none of that. Like the only you just care to change people's lives. If it's even one person, it's two people, and that's amazing. A lot of the times people want to make money off of their music or money off of these podcasts, and they don't care if they change someone's life or they don't. It's just like selfishly for them. But I could tell for you that having these conversations, even having you now on the podcast, it's like you're much more humble about your approach. You do want people to like connect with your music and hit you up and say, hey, like you changed my life, which it takes me to my next question. Have you had people listening to your music saying, hey, like I listened to your music, I connected with it, thank you, like it made me feel a lot better, like I can connect with you, and that's same sort.
I've had the funniest interaction before. I mean, like I've had when I put these songs out realistically, like, okay, sure, I have some subscribers, I have some viewers, my songs get views after being up on YouTube for about a year now. I have one of my favorite songs called Only You. It has 1,700 views. I don't expect 20 views. I don't expect nothing. So if people are listening to it, the music's speaking for itself. That's what I'm happy about. And I will answer this question, but to sort of go back to what you had just mentioned about being famous and all, it's like none of that matters, man, because in these past few months, about December 2020, I was very ill and I could not move out of this bed behind me. I could not talk. Like when I say I could not talk, words would not come out of my mouth. I could not breathe on my own. I had people carry me up. I'm 6 foot, 250 pounds. I'm not a light guy. I had 3 people I had to carry me up. So when you get to that point, nothing matters, bro. Literally nothing else matters but your health. My hats don't matter. My fits don't matter. My shoes don't matter. My wallet, my cars, nothing matters, bro, when you don't have health. So it's like when I had that, being famous doesn't matter, bro. Being able to have a voice and speak mattered the most. So, and the thing is, if you think about it, when you don't have a voice, the only thing you can do is pray in here.
100%.
So
And
that's one thing that sort of kept me humble and grounded me and lifted
well,
me up. So
honestly, it's like I get talking about praying. One of I guess my favorite songs is Hero. And this also, I feel like a lot of your songs. Before I say the lyrics, a lot of your songs are like touching, and like they're all sending a message. Like each song has its own message to be
yeah,
sent. And Hero obviously is like for Palestine, but also I feel it's also like for you being there because you say you're a part of me, and I'll always be your hero. When you fall ill, sleep. I'll be by your side. Don't be afraid. I'll be your hero. When you call on me, I'll be by your side. You also said that because around the same time where you told us you were going, like you were sick, you were like ill and you even went at that stage of mind for you to put that song out and saying I'm still here for everybody. That means a lot because sometimes we're much closer to strangers than we are to our own closest friends.
facts. Absolutely. Yeah, and like that song here, like I mentioned to Muhammad here, is like that song has two meanings, right? So when I was writing Hero, I was writing this song, like I said, in my bed, sick out of my mind. And that song initially, not to take away from the people of Palestine, but that song was a message of God forbid I don't make it, I will be by your side. Will you
Yeah,
call on me when you fall asleep? I will be by your side. Don't be afraid, I'll be your hero. So it's like, hey, even if I'm not here physically, I'm here with you spiritually, mentally. Like I'll be your angel kind of thing. That was the whole point of Hero. And then as I got better, as God made me better and God healed me and gave me patience to be better, there was a bigger picture. There was a bigger story. There's Palestine. And this is a problematic situation from 1942 to 48, I think. And
Yeah.
that song just transitioned to be the song for Palestine, the song for the people in Palestine. And you know what? I'm glad I did that. So
And even enough, so
it
powerful
did.
that even like Ion Resources picked it up and like they shouted you out multiple times. A lot of other people like I think even put up your stuff. Like shout out to them for sharing, and I feel that's amazing. The fact that that's why I tell people I'm like you don't have to be that big or that small. Like if your message is impactful and like sends a message, someone's gonna share it because it connected with them. And obviously your lyrics connected. When I remember when I saw this, because I saw it like at that point when I saw the video for Hero, it was even out. It was like a promo.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, this guy can sing. This guy has like this guy's like has amazing lyrics. I want to hit him up. So and I did that. I'm glad we're here today.
that's sick, man. Thank you so much. No, thank you for sharing it, both of you. Thank you to shout out to Ion Resources. That got a lot of views. I did not expect. I first of all, I didn't even know they shared it until they tagged me. And I mean, I barely go on my phone. I'm an old head, so when I went on my phone, I seen it. I was like, "Who the heck is this?" And the amount of views and likes, and that was appreciated. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
I like that's reassuring. That motivates you to want to do something more along that lane, right? So
100%.
we'll see what's next.
One question I have for you, it's like a lot of artists when they start out, obviously they have goals and a vision of just getting out there, spreading their message and what they want to share to their audience, right? Now, as you get further and further, and especially when you become a better artist, they have the scope and mentality that I want to be on top. I want to be the king. Like I want everyone to love me and just worship me ultimately in the word way and stuff. As you said, like you had that experience of being sick and realizing the bigger picture. Now, pretty much through your music and who you are as a person, everything, it's like as if you're servants. It's all about gratitude, being thankful, and just having that wisdom of just sharing that understanding that you went through in the past and just utilizing it to become a better person in the future going along. Did you have the mentality of always being a servant for your audience before? Or did you like want to be a king and everyone look up to you and all that stuff? And then through your sickness, you became like a servant, opposite ultimately.
That's a fantastic question. Jeez, it's like when you. I think for anyone that has a creative outlet, not only singing, it could be painting, drawing, even a sports player, right? You always want to be the best of your ability, and you always want to bring some sort of entertainment with it, right? So
Mhm.
if I was to look back into other songs that I've recorded prior to this first project album, I have songs called Naked, Ride With Me, Another Broken Love Song, which is strictly pop. I got 100,000 Hours, which is so jazzy and blues. So it's like I wanted to cater to everyone and I wasn't
Yeah.
catering to myself.
Mm.
I was so many different sounds that you would be like, this is all a different artist, right? You would not be able to tell. I jumped on a reggae track, man. And I tell you, if you hear it, you think this is not Hani, this is Sean Paul. So, and it was, I promise you, we'll play it right after and I'm going to throw you guys off.
Okay.
So when I was doing that at one time, it's like maybe I was trying to be more focused on them and what
Mhm.
they would like. I wasn't necessarily focused on me. So when all in all happened, the transition to wanting to become more my sound, more myself, be more grounded, bring what I bring from my life to the table, I had a more of a perspective of being, I guess, a bit of both worlds. It's hard to say just one.
That's beautiful. And I know before, like, obviously, you have a beautiful relationship with your cousin, and you guys have a podcast together.
Yeah,
And like you said, it was because of him you decided to release the song Rebirth, your most
yeah.
touching and personal song. Do you think anyone else would have been able to convince you to release that song if it wasn't your cousin?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm going to shout out some people right now, and if you don't mind. So
No
Yeah, go
problem.
ahead.
with this entire music thing, I remember being. I'll give you a little history lesson here. I remember being about around maybe 12, 13 years old, and the first sound that I loved, bro, when I got introduced to music was Yin Yang Twins. I love the dirty South rap.
Yeah.
It's weird, bro, because their music is mainly strip club music, and it's just like, what the heck am I going to do with this at 13 years old? So it was that crunk sound, and I was like, I need to do that. I need to. And the people in my corner at the time, my cousin Bashara, my very good friend, he's a cousin to me as well. His name is Roger. My brother and all these people, they were so in my corner and so supportive. And then when I finally got into a studio, they were so like the criticism, man. I did not know how to handle it. They're like, "No, that's not good. Do it again." And I was just like, "What do you mean it's not good?" who do you think you're talking to? And it's just like I gotta slow my roll, bro, because I'm nobody in this business. So there are people now that sort of motivated me all along the way because I've been doing this for about 15 years just for fun. So
Mhm.
shout out to Shada, my brother Rami, my good friend Roger, my producer Johnny. These four guys have been in my corner all the way, and these four guys would probably be the only person that would push me to put that song out because they know about the shit that I've gone through, you know?
And that's real. And like you said, then when you have those people in your corner and they know you and they trust you and they know the vision that you have, they share it with you. So ultimately, like you said, the criticism is not that they're trying to limit you or put you
Mhm.
down. They see the greatness in you. They're just trying to make
Yeah.
sure that you're able to, ascend in the right way. So that's beautiful that you have those four people in your corner.
And that can go back to you guys. It's like for both you and Osama, it's like if you guys decided to do something and to push barriers, break barriers, push your limits, who would you guys go to? Would you guys say
That's a tough
my best
question,
friend? Would you say you know what I mean? And I think it's important to ask that because it gives the audience a perspective. Like,
dude. Damn,
you know
you're
what I
the
mean? Like,
first person that's asked us a question. But to answer your question, honestly, I'll go first. One or two people I can think of on the spot right now who can probably convince me, or like if I'm down. One of them is this beautiful man right here, Mo. For everybody that, because like sometimes you, like as you said, like I just feel like he's family. So it's just like a friend can say stuff, but it's not impactful. But when someone you grew up with, I've obviously known, for everybody who doesn't know by now, I've known Muhammad for like 20 years. So obviously he knows my ins and outs. He knows when I'm not the same way, and he knows if I'm thinking a certain way. So obviously he's that guy that's able to influence me in a sense, try to like get the best out of me. It's hard because to get the best out of you is like not everybody can do that. You want that,
absolutely,
like when I look at Mo, I look not only as a business partner but almost as a competitor, because like he pushes me. It's like it's almost like when the talks about like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Michael Jordan, LeBron James, who's gonna push each other, who to get that W, and that's how I look at Mo.
that's it.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Yeah, for me, Osama, likewise. Like I said last week, this is not on the podcast. It was an off-topic conversation with our friends. I told them, I'm like, man, the reason why I respect Osama so much is because people don't know how wise he is. Like, he's such a wise person, right? And he's always saying things full of wisdom. Like, you take away from it. So he might say something so quick, but if you don't sit and contemplate about it, you might take it for granted. And
Mhm.
every time he said something as such, I just love to contemplate about it and just realize how it could relate it to my life and where I'm at in the moment. So therefore, it helps me in the future when the situation comes, And Osama's one person I go to, obviously, without a doubt. Another person is God. So I guess at this moment, it's Osama and God. Before, when I was younger, 17, 18, 19, 21 and stuff, there's a lot of people used to go to. But
Mhm.
through experiences and through trials and tribulations and afflictions and hardships, you realize who's there for you and who's not there for you, right? So
And
who's actually in your corner when no one else wants to be right beside you, as opposed to everyone's like, hey, I'm there for you whenever you need me and stuff.
yeah,
I'll be there. So
to, to add on to your point, I just feel like we talked about like friendships and family, how important it is to all three of us, right? And just by hearing Hani's point, your point, Muhammad, and my point is we all no one named more than like five people on their hands, right?
Just gonna say
Because
that.
no one named more than five people. It's just like you only have like me. Like I was told my like people who are younger than me. I'm like, by the time you're my age, because someone when I was 21, the advice that I got, and this is me at 21, my ego was still high. I was still like, I just graduated school, and he told me, he's like, I want to tell you advice. He's like, I know you're gonna. I remember he said to me, he's like, I know you're gonna do a lot of stuff. I could see it within you. It's just a matter of time. But he says the one advice I'm gonna give you is like find some new friends. The friends you have now are not the ones you're gonna have by the time you're my like 25, 26. And I'm like, man, what you mean? And yo, by the way, as time went by, I'm like, and at this point, if everybody doesn't know, like me and Muhammad weren't even like we weren't even like friends at this point. Like we weren't even
no,
talking. We were like he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, right? So it's kind of weird how. And if someone told me 10 years ago that I'll reconcile with this guy, I'd be like, you're crazy. You're like, what is happening right now? But to go back to my original point, back to when I was 25, 26, I look at my hand, I can only count 5 people if I ever need something. And I always go for this guy. Like last week, he called me, he's like, bro, I need your help. I could have been in Toronto and I would have went for this guy, but I was actually at home. He's like, I need your help. Can you make it? I'm like, of course. And that's a brotherhood right there. No one named more than 5 people. You see people who are younger than us who name 10 friends. Like, these are my dogs. I'm like, yeah, just wait until you're
No,
25,
man.
26, buddy.
Like
It's like going to,
it's been that way for everyone, and people need to grow up. It's like when I go to the ball court, right, and I go by myself, and people think,
yeah,
why the hell do you go play ball by yourself? It's like I genuinely, I have a very intimate shoot the ball, don't let it bounce more than once, run to the ball, and that's how I get my workout in. And then I look to the side, and you got 35 people dapping each other up. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
man, give it 5 years, you're gonna be dapping yourself. I swear to God. And I've had, similar to you, Osama, I had my parents tell me, you're just gonna have no more than 5 friends, and these friends are gonna be your family, and these are the people you wanna rely on. And besides our friends and God, it's my family that's never left your corner. You need someone to pick you up when you're on your hands and knees and you can't get up on your own. And I think the only reason why I wanted to sort of have that moment on this podcast is because a lot of people don't hear it. They know it. They don't want to accept it. So hopefully if they hear this, they can accept that and sort of recognize real from what's real.
yeah.
um, on the, we were going to London, like we were doing some business. And
Yeah.
long story short, we actually had this conversation talking about like friendships and talking about family. And I feel as if sometimes we were talking about people they have to go through certain stuff in order to understand. But sometimes I would rather learn from other people. Like, if I know you went through something and you're older than me, just give me all the advice that I need so I don't have to go through that. So at least I can avoid it. Because I'm like, why do you think there are people who are older than you to give you back advice?
Very, very. It's so true. Listen, you said Osama has wisdom. I believe it because when I first spoke to him on the phone the other day, quote me if I'm wrong. I told him I was like, "You're like a brother, bro." I'm like, the things you're saying resonate with me, and that's the only reason I'm doing this podcast is because I
Yeah,
resonate
yeah.
with you guys. If I don't know you guys, I'm like, sure, let me do the podcast. Then I'd be that guy. Nah, bro. It's like if I was to say yes to a random podcast, that's me wanting to do it for the sole purpose of wanting to get bigger. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk to two brothers. I'm here to talk to, and I'm all about wisdom. I have wisdom tattooed right on me, right here on my chest.
Yeah. I remember I remember you even said to us, you're like, yo, listen, if your vibe was trash, I wasn't even about to do it. He's like, because I could also tell how you're good at reading people. You're like, yo, like I just like your vibe. You guys like share similar qualities. And by the way, it's kind of hard to find the qualities that we have are similarities because a lot of people don't carry that. You just said that I could have came on the podcast strictly for me, my selfish reasons, right? By all means, like people do want to come to promote their stuff. By all means, you do that. Like we're happy to help you out in any sort of way. But also, what I do enjoy more is having that conversation because I know I could take something out of it from this podcast specifically and say, Hani said this or Muhammad said this. I'm gonna go and put that in my life because sometimes we all go through stuff respectively and subliminally you're not thinking about it, but someone can say something that can really affect you, and then you go about by your way. It's like, wow, maybe I should think about it this way and that way. And that's why I feel like I'm always changing. Like parents always say you're changing as a kid. I feel you're changing rapidly as an adult because
Absolutely.
you're trying to learn, you're trying to grow as an adult. And I feel depending on how you look at it, it makes sense.
As a kid, you're growing up. As an adult, you're rapidly changing. And I said this to Osama the other day, Mo. I said a lot of people listen, and you know what I'm about to say. A lot of people only listen to respond, to reply, to attack. Many people don't listen to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like if you and me get into a heated conversation, which I know will never be the case, but if we get into a heated conversation and I listen and listen and listen and take everything in and then I just walk away from it, you're gonna get so angry, like, why didn't that guy say anything back to me? I've taken everything you just said and I've been able to sort of make knowledge out of that and make choices out of that, not to come back at you, not to raise my voice at you, not to give you the attention you desire, because the attention you desire is different from the attention I desire. So
I
yeah,
love how
man,
you
just
said that. And I love you shared that because a lot of people just want to say their point. And you know those people who just want to say their point and just don't bother arguing with them because they're gonna say whatever they want to say just for the sake of making themselves look right. And at that point, I'm just wasting breath.
Of
There's so
course,
many
of course.
there's so many people I can name right now. But they don't deserve that attention. Let's keep this
They don't
podcast
deserve that
going.
attention, man. Bun those guys. Whoever thinks that they. It's just a waste of breath. Sometimes you're like, it could be about the dumbest thing. Think about the dumbest thing. Like you like cars. Think about cars. Like, wow, this car is better than this car. Obviously, with your friends, you joke around, but there's people who take it seriously,
Oh,
and
Of
they'll
buddy,
be
course.
like
like, and they'll
don't
be
get me
like,
started.
you just look at them like, I'm just wasting my breath talking to you.
It's weird, bro. If I see like I have a friend, I'm not even gonna say your name because if you're listening to this, you're such a piece of. And then you know what? And he knows that. I'll let him know. It's like we've been walking down the street. I'll be like, yo, look at that purple Lamborghini. He's like, it's magenta. Like,
That's
bro,
me.
what?
That's me.
I don't even think twice about talking to you. I will push you onto the road and let the magenta ride over you. Like it's just not worth my time. Stop talking.
That's so funny.
Can I?
It's magenta.
Oh, this guy killed me. This guy killed me. Let me ask you a question, because obviously you said family is really important to you. So, would you
Yeah.
consider yourself like, I don't want to say antisocial necessarily, but would you consider yourself like when you're like in a big group of people with your friends, like are you much more quiet and observant, like reading people and seeing how they act amongst other people
Yeah.
before you start like saying hi and hello?
It's like you've known me my whole life. When I was like 19, 20, 21, I was so outgoing, so confident, very cocky, bro. I had nothing to be cocky about. I weighed 105 pounds soaking wet. I looked like a bird. So it's like I I was very outgoing and then a very people person, extrovert,
Mhm.
if you want to say. But then, as sort of you go through your trials and tribulations, in my 20s at least, my 20s, people say 20s are like the best years of your life. Not for me, bro. My 20s have been boxing match after boxing match after boxing match, and I've been knocked down every single time. So it's like more or less recently, in the past, I think you can even say 6, 7 months, I've been recently going out more. I've been putting myself out into the world because I'm more confident in who I am now. I can go out into a social setting and I can carry a conversation between 10 to 15 people if I really wanted to, you know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
Yeah,
in that perspective, I'm good, but at the same time I choose to sort of be more quiet, observant, and just sort of pick up on people because that's just how I am as a person, I guess.
That's beautiful. And one thing I want to ask you is, like you
Yeah.
said, it's incredible. Like, yeah, just the wisdom. It's like my 20s, I went through multiple boxing matches. And a lot of people, like, I won some, lost some, but you're like, every time I got knocked down. And when you get knocked down, obviously there's a lesson in that. So you know what to do better for the next bout, for the next match.
It's
Growing
it's
up,
important. It's important to accept it too, you know what I mean?
yeah.
for sure.
And growing up, like you said, just a different person from the age of 17 to 20 to who you are now with everything you've gone through. What would you tell us about just the relationship with your parents and just the advice they used to give you back then opposed to now? Are you more listenable to it? Do you apply it more? And are you more thankful for it?
Yeah, for sure. So this is something I don't ever speak about, but I'm going to. My mom has always been my best friend. You know, you always gotta love the ladies in your life and
Mhm,
always respect the woman in your life first and
mhm.
foremost. Before anything, put a hard period on that. My mother is my life. Without her, I'd have no life. Again, sort of similar to mental health awareness in January, I celebrate my Mother's Day every single day. Every day is her day, right? So um,
Mashallah.
ever since I was a kid till
Amazing.
now, that hasn't changed, and even in the future, that will never change. My father, on the other hand, a very hard, strict, old school mentality Lebanese man. Um, he's raised a lot of kids, bro. So I mean, and he's been hard and strict on all of them. Me and him never really seen eye to eye on things, especially as I got older in my early 20s. I put my foot down and said, I'm the man, which was not the case. And
Yeah.
I was ignoring what he was telling me, which I shouldn't have done. And, thank God I still have my father here with me till this day. I sit, I listen when he talks, man. I look him in the eye when he talks to me because let me tell you something, and this may get very dark, but I'm sorry. You only have one mom and one dad.
It's true.
You're not gonna have a second mom, you're not gonna have a second dad. And one day when you become a parent, you're gonna be your dad to someone else. You know what I mean? So I believe in good karma. So till this day, if I'm walking out, if I'm seeing my dad and he has to tell me something about this cold weather that doesn't make sense, I'm gonna sit there and listen to him, bro, because it sort of gives him the accomplishment of feeling like a dad. So
Hmm.
for me, let me be respectful and be the son that I am. Because it doesn't matter how old you get, bro. At the end of the day, you're still your parents' child. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, I
And they
mean,
always
and,
they
and
always will see you as that child, right? At the end of the
it,
day.
it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't fucking like. I mean, I'm not gonna sit on my mom's lap now. I crushed the woman, if poor little thing walking at 5 feet tall. But it's like from 17 till now, I respect them significantly more. I would never disrespect them. I listen to them, and I always give them the conversation that they want. Because realistically, it's like, yo, we're growing up, and we're about to involve ourselves in our own family and involve ourselves in our own home and our own job. But then think about it, they're just sitting down doing this because they got nothing else to do, and the only
Of
thing
course.
they have is you. So you have to give them that time, bro, because that's all they have, and you don't have much time with them at the end of the
Hmm.
day.
It's
So
true.
Agreed.
yeah, that's just how
It's
I see
true.
things. That's how that, and all of that, all the things we just spoke about sort of correlates to music. That's what I take to music.
Hmm. One thing you said that was beautiful. It's just like in the beginning, we talked about your mom and the respect that you have for the lady, especially for women. Growing up,
Always.
obviously, in these times as young adults, especially men, like it's all about flexing, having as much girls as possible. You know, the more the better, and everything. Like we learn from movies to music to entertainment and TV shows. You just cut them off. You talk down on them and stuff. You try to be aggressive and stuff. Like there's certain things that guys like as far as the manual code on how just to have the most fun and at the same time command the most respect in a relationship wise between a man and a woman. The fact that you said like you must treat a woman at all times with respect first. And obviously through Islam, we know that the woman is 3 times better than us, probably more, but the Prophet said, peace be upon him, 3 times better than a man.
True.
Why do you have such respect for women that most men don't carry on a daily basis?
These questions are so good. It's like you guys know all these little categories about me that I don't want to talk about that you keep asking that I'm going to talk about. So two perspectives on this, right? There's dating, and then there's the women that brought you into this life, right? Whether it's your mother, or even like your sister, if you guys have female roles in the home. My mom is it's a very sentimental topic, and I'm a very emotional type of person, so I'm not going to say too much. My mom is my life, bro, and my biggest fear in life is losing my mom. My biggest
Mhm.
fear. It scares me. It puts me at edge. The thought of it can ruin my entire day. So on that album, Rebirth, I made a song, and it's called For Mama, right? Not for mom, not for my mom. It's for mama because I call her mama, right? So I wanted to make it as authentic and raw as possible. And if you listen to that song, you're going to hear my pain of how much she means to me and how much I don't want to lose her. I can play the song for her right now, and she would sort of look at me, smile, and then smack me and tell me to get out of her face. Realistically, because
Yeah.
she's a strong woman, bro, and she's always taught me to just to respect women, man. Women don't have gender roles. I don't believe in that.
Mhm.
Women are not supposed to be less than you, or if they are above you, by all means, to each their own. But I've always been taught respect and love, always. And the reason why is because one big part of this home here, and I don't really talk about religion much. My father's Muslim, my mother's
Mhm.
Catholic. No
Mhm.
one converted. It's a respect thing in this house, bro, and that's all it is. It's respect, and you choose the religion you desire, and you love how we love. They taught us one thing, and they taught us love. My dad has always taught me, and all my brothers have taught me, love your mom, love your mom, love your mom. So that's one important factor. And secondly, I mean, we've all been in relationships. You know what I mean? Some successful, some good, some not too good.
Mhm.
And I think everyone could attest to that, guy and girl. And I've been in a relationship for one of them that was fairly impactful for a couple years, almost 3 years. And at a young age, you think this is going to be so good for me. This is going to grow into something so good and beautiful. But that wasn't the case. Even as a guy, I've been cheated on, right? So that was extremely hurtful. But the thing is, for me to take that perspective and to apply it to all women, would be very wrong. Now,
Of
you guys
course.
are on social media. You see women say, men ain't shit, men
Men are
ain't this.
trash.
Mm,
Yeah.
How many times do you see
yeah,
guys say, women ain't shit? Like, no, we don't do that, bro.
No, no.
Sorry. Some people do, but some people with
but
a good head on their shoulders will not say that because we have
Of
a
course.
yeah,
mother in our life. We have women in our life that we need to respect. I'd like to think women have fathers in their life. And if you respect your father, you should respect men too, bro. It's not. I had someone cheat on me. I'm not gonna hate all women, but at the end of the day, women are beautiful. Women will bring your child
um,
into this world. Your mother is your everything, and
I agree with what you just said, because I always, like, one time I had this argument with this girl. I'm like, you gotta actually, this guy was with me, Mo.
Yeah.
We were like out chilling, and then I remember she, like, a lot of girls have said this, but I remember I put one girl in their place. Like, look, I'm like, by you saying men are trash, you're telling me that I can say because one Muslim does something that all Muslims are bad. She's like, no, it's not like that. I'm like, no, it's exactly like that. Cause stop generalizing all men in one stereotype. We're not all like that. I'm like, I am not like the guy you were with. Don't even put me in that stats. And I remember one time I said, I'm like, look, you only attract who you are. If you're a drug dealer, you're gonna attract a drug dealer. Like, if you're someone successful, you want someone, you're modest, you're attracted. If you're someone like us who's like cool, who's like super chill, we don't want to be controversial, you're gonna do that. I'm like, by you saying, I'm like, what if I say all women are hoes? She's like, oh well, you're being this. I'm like, how? That makes no sense. I'm
Misogynistic.
like, I
bro,
got called
listen.
misogynistic. I'm like, nah, I'm just repeating what
Back,
you just said.
back to what Mo said. Don't waste your breath because if I can listen, bro, if I can make a podcast right now by myself and I won't have any guests, I will give you 55 episodes back to back about how I feel about women. But the thing is, it's not worth my time, bro.
You just,
If if you're up here, listen, if a woman says men ain't shit, we're on video. We can see this. The listeners can't see this. This is where they are.
yeah,
Yeah.
When you look past that and you don't do what they're doing, we're up here. People that are so hurt and broken need to learn how to heal and love because how are you going
Mm.
to love someone at 100% when you can't love yourself?
exactly, and that's exactly it. So even I think your song like ride for me.
Right with me, yeah. Oh, we got a
Uh,
business call.
that's this guy. You're like, love me, know what you want me, be your homie. Do
You
you
want to
want
ride
to
with
ride
me?
with me? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that alone is like, you want someone who's like your ride or die. You want someone who's with you. And I really don't want someone to men are trash. Guys, for everybody who's listening, if you hear that, Mo's getting a lot of business calls.
Mo,
Business
do you need
calls don't
help?
end. They need help, Mo. They gotta send money, or they gotta
It's
send
a call.
water.
It's a call center.
Oh man. But honestly, yeah, bro. Like, all jokes aside, I believe everything you just said I've resonated with, and I feel like I've always asked this guy, like, what's your favorite podcast? And it's kind of hard because, like, obviously you have a lot of people who say a lot of things. I'm saying this out there, and I don't care what people think, but I'm putting this at number one because a lot of the similarities that I have with you, Hani, and also I feel like the conversation that, like, took me to different paradigms. Just like something you just said right now actually made me think of something I was going through right now. So just stuff like that. You just said, like, and it's funny how I said that before, and you said something, and now kind of got me thinking about something that I have to fix at the moment.
Yeah.
But I believe, just to go back to, like, the men are trash topic, I
I,
believe to all the girls, stop saying that. It's annoying because
there was a
either,
video, bro. Sorry. I just want to say this very
yeah, go
quickly
ahead.
before I forget. There was a video. I think it was on. I think someone posted it to Six Buzz. I don't know what it was. I shared it to my IG story, bro. And I never used to share this stuff because I didn't want this in my ear from
Of course.
all the female friends that I have. But at the
Of
same
course.
time, fuck what you think. Sorry for swearing on this podcast. I genuinely don't care less because you're so in denial. Sometimes it's ridiculous. This woman was saying on the video, you women that say men ain't shit are ruining it for all the other women that want men to approach them. You are ruining it for guys that are shy. Just because you've been so hurt by someone doesn't mean men ain't shit. You ain't
Yeah, for
shit.
sure.
Like, bro, she was going
Exactly.
off, right? So it's like back to what I just said a few minutes ago. For people who highly believe men ain't shit, by all means, be on your own. Continue talking your shit. But I hope, a good part of me always hopes that you find love within yourself. Once you find love within yourself, you find happiness. Once you're happy, you find
Exactly.
peace within yourself. Once you find peace within yourself, your standard goes up to here, and you're not looking for those fuck boys, excuse my language. And
Yeah,
then you get so butthurt at the end. You know what I mean? So it's all about. It starts with you at the end of the day. It doesn't start with the guy you're with. It starts with you.
exactly. 100%. You couldn't have said it better.
One thing I want to know, obviously, with music, from the recording process to the writing process to the visual process, it's a 360 scope of what it takes to be an artist. And obviously, for you, music is therapeutic. It's really
Right.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Is music the only thing that's therapeutic for you at this point in your life?
Uh, Besides working out, no. I mean, like Osama was saying a long time, like earlier in this conversation, like I think off the podcast, the gym. The gym is a huge ideal part for I think everyone, right? It's
Yeah.
exercising. It's getting that energy out for you, right? If everyone has so much inside of them, it's that
Yeah,
creative part of them. No matter what it is, you need to get it out. And if I can't write, record, which is something I do every single day, I'm punching the bag. I'm on the treadmill. I'm playing ball. I'm lifting weights. So exercising and weight training is something for me. What about you guys? Because I want to be asking questions here too. What's
do
your
you
what's
want
your what's your outlet? What's your outlet?
to go first, Mo?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. For me, it's like the ultimate of the ultimate is really just my parents, man. Just having beautiful conversations with my parents. I love asking them stories about their life when they're young, what they went through, just immigrating to this country, and just all the trials and tribulations. Because at the same time, obviously, from the Quran and the Bible and the Torah, like you have the prophets, and they went through such a trial, right? And obviously, you take those stories and you relate to us. Obviously, we don't do that all the time because we're not as religious as we should be, but it doesn't mean we can't do the same thing with our parents. They are similar to us in a way, right? So obviously, they went through something that's kind of relatable to us, just in a different time and fashion. So when I ask these questions for my parents, it helps so much because when I go through a similar situation, I'm like, oh, my dad went through this and he did this in that situation. So therefore, I see the beauty and the wisdom behind it. So therefore, with the understanding, I'm able to have less problems and less mistakes going forward. Another thing is just prayers, just
You don't feel
just
alone.
just prayers, man. Just having that isolated time to myself to reflect on
Mhm.
life, myself, and what means what means everything to me, and what doesn't mean anything to me. How do I erase it? Just trim the fat. So therefore, I'm able to just be because I just want to be. That's it. So that's really
Love that.
that's my outlet.
Sick. What about you, Osama?
For me, bro, I like this. I think COVID got me thinking different in terms of therapeutic sessions. Like one thing that Mo just said is praying. So praying for me is like really important now. So I feel like when I'm things are like misplaced or things are like that don't make sense, I do pray. Or if I want anything, I do pray for it. And now praying has been part of my life, like going forward in the past year and a half. But things like the obviously gym is really therapeutic for me because I think a lot of the people for me that's going to the gym. Obviously, it's for the purpose of working out and getting healthy, but also I feel like there's stuff on your mind that you feel like you're not able to get out, or you're not able. Or sometimes I feel for me, I just don't want to have conversations with my friend because I don't want them thinking that. Because sometimes I feel like when you have a conversation with your friend, it's a small problem, but they might take it as a big problem that they're worried for you. And I don't like people worrying for me. Like I'm a strong individual, I'm a strong person. I went through so much stuff in my life that like took me down, and I was able to get back up from it. And also driving, believe it or not, driving to me is really therapeutic. Like I like going on drives, putting music on, or even driving with like one of my good friends, like whether it's Mo and like some people. Like the other day, we were actually even yesterday we were driving and we were just to meet some friends, and they said they were playing music in their car, but like I guess we were like we're 25, 26 years old, we're just having conversations to kill the time, to talk about life. So I
Yeah,
feel like having conversations, driving, praying, and I just also, the gym is really important to me. I think I told you this off the podcast. I do write. I haven't written in a long time.
Oh
So I feel
yeah,
like sometimes writing your emotion, I know you guys both are writers. And I feel writing is also one thing I used to do a lot just to like let out my emotions to see how I feel. But I don't do it as much no more. I don't know why. The last time I
writing
wrote
and
funny,
journaling. Journaling is so good for you, man.
it
it's
is. It
Even
beautiful.
even
feels it's
even if it's not poetry or rap, bro. I've like till this day, like I'm not gonna say it at all. I just wrote a song and I thought it would be funky and something people can correlate because correct me if I'm wrong. Now I could be putting myself out here and sound really awkward right now, some people, when you break off a relationship, some people, I am not some people, but some people tend to keep that relationship with their ex. You know what I mean? They
Yes.
call on them, hey, what are you
Yeah.
doing? I want to see you. So I
I
made a
know what you're
song,
talking
and
about.
I made a song, and it's called X Rated, EX Rated, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about pretty much all the trials and tribulations, because it's no longer a relationship; it's more of a hotline bling kind of
Hotline
relationship.
bling.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
strictly a rap song, but so X-rated that I just don't want to put it out. But I'm just like, man, someone would love to hear this. Not me though. I don't want to.
So
I don't
you're
want to
basically
put this out.
you're basically speaking the perspective of like those some people who actually do go do that. Well, honestly, I think a lot of people would they could definitely connect to it. I don't agree with it personally speaking. Like if you're my ex, if you're
I
like
don't
someone,
know. If you're my ex, stay the
you're like dead to me at that point. It's just like I knocked you
stay,
out, you knocked me out, you're done. Peace.
stay the heck away from me. And like that's something I wanted to ask also for all three of us, as a matter of fact, because you mentioned driving in your car, listening to music.
Yes.
You write. So Mo, I'm speaking to you. Mo, you write. So I know you listen to music. I know you get in your car and you listen to music. I do that every single day. So I want to know, and this is just you in your car. This is not you and your homie, you and your boy,
Yes.
you and the girl, because at that point the song changes.
For
What are
sure.
you playing in the car by yourself? Windows up. What are you singing on your own? And I'm asking you to
Damn,
be
bro.
vulnerable. Now your listeners get to know.
Damn.
Well,
Okay,
the thing
so
is, I guess someone goes first.
no, you go first, bro. I'm still thinking.
Top
Okay,
three.
okay. But for me, it's like I listen to everything, so it has to be
Cap.
by category, right? So it's like,
I'm gonna throw you off. Don't worry. I will. You want me to start so I can make you feel really comfortable?
oh yeah, you can start. You can start. You can start.
So mine's random as hell, bro. I'm telling you right now. You have to accept the fact that I was born 1990. Okay.
Yeah,
Osama's ready to laugh real hard right now. So I
No.
go I I go from rock to singing to okay. So Bon Jovi, because I'm a huge rock head.
hmm
The Bee Gees, because it was the first song I've ever heard as a kid.
hmm
These three old pop heads. I am don't ask me why. I'm obsessed with Collie Buds for some reason. I just love the nice reggae sound. Backstreet Boys, because I love harmonies.
yeah, yeah.
And if I had to throw down, I'll probably say I'll put myself in there because I like my damn music.
So we're
Yeah.
choosing five.
I
Five
And that's not
respect
artists.
a
that.
that's not a cocky statement.
No, I respect that.
I'm proud
If,
of
it-
I'm proud of the work I made. So
if I'm on myself, man, like if I'm, I guess five. I my favorite band is the Police. I love the Police. They're my
I did not
favorite band.
expect that at all.
I
That's
love the Police,
amazing.
man. The Police is my favorite band. Incredible. To me, the Police is like a Tribe Called Quest of hip hop, like of like rock. Like what they did in the new wave era, incredible.
Mm.
I also love Phil Collins. I'm a big Phil Collins fan. So
You
that's
are throwing me for a loop right now.
yeah, that's Phil Collins solo work and also with Genesis. Like those albums, incredible as far as Sonics. I love New Edition. I love New Edition. So New Edition, like everything my parents listened to, I just took it, I just embraced it, right? If I had two more, let me get hip hop is hip hop. So that's like golden age. You can listen to any artist. But I guess people who wouldn't expect me to listen to something, I guess I love jazz. So I love like John Coltrane, Miles Davis. Like I love jazz, man. Jazz is incredible. I love jazz so much. And last one, Sade. I love
Sade is
Sade.
crazy, man.
Sade.
You see how universal music is?
Yeah,
And
Sade. So
I'm not mentioning hip hop because I'm such a hip. I can
yeah,
go off
exactly.
on
Yeah,
that.
I don't need to listen hip hop, right? So for
All I
anyone who
listen
knows
to
like
is
those artists, listen to those artists, bro.
I already told you who I like. R.I.P. DMX.
Oh man, the dog,
Osama,
bro.
what about Osama? What are you playing in the car? First song.
I know Osama loves the Dixie Chicks. I know that for a fact.
Relax yourself, bro. Honestly, like for me, it depends on my mood. Like if I'm like I don't want to say the present.
That's huge.
If I'm like thinking about stuff, I want to think about like for example, like one song that comes to my mind is like Drake, Two Birds in One Stone, talking about his life and like talking what he was going through. And he's expressing himself, right? So, or if I'm in the
Beautiful.
gym, you mentioned rocks. Like I kind of grew up like watching hockey my whole life because my dad came here really young and he got in love with the sport.
No way.
So, yeah. So like for me, like I grew up playing NHL 06 as a kid, so like there's a lot of rock songs that I listen to, and that's nostalgic for me. And I listen to that in the gym because I feel like rap songs I'm just dancing half the time in the gym, but rock is like pushes me
Yeah.
to go harder. You know what I'm saying? So I just like dancing, but I feel it honestly depends on my mood, bro. It's not
So it's
like
versatile.
it's versatile. Like even if I'm in an angry mood, I'd be listening to diss tracks like "Ether" by Nas, "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac, "Back to Back" by Drake, "No Vaseline" by Ice Cube. Like
That's energy is on.
it's not,
Yeah.
it's not even
That
like if I'm mad or angry. Just like I feel like that's the only way I can express. And sometimes I feel like music can calm me down in a sense because like in the heat of the moment you say stuff, but now I'm just like I go on like quarantine was the biggest thing. Like even though I didn't give my parents like any problems like my siblings did because like I guess they were just like music like to me like driving is more it's much more appealing, it's much more therapeutic for me. So when I go and listen to like Drake or like rock or I listen to Jay-Z or Lil Wayne, people artists who
yeah.
have Eminem specifically. If Eminem is like one of those artists for me where because he went through so much stuff and I kind of I'm not saying I went through the same stuff, but respectively we all do. And I feel like he kind of clears up my mind and stuff like that. But yeah, it is versatile depending on my mood and depending on how I feel. I just want a certain song to be played.
It's the expression. It's a thought of expression. And the fact that you just mentioned Nas, Ether, and like that's sick. I was just like when I had asked earlier, like off the podcast, I was asking for your ages. I was just like, oh, are these guys gonna know what I list? And you do obviously, and you took it. First of all, Mo took it way back, and even you took it back with no that with Ice
Yeah,
Cube, and I was just like, okay, that's crazy. So it's like these songs really express yourselves, and that's what music is. It's versatile and just to sort of take it even like a crazy rewind, Rebirth, if you have and if you have not listened to it, man, from song number 1 to song 11, going back to what I said about all my previous songs, Naked, Ride With Me, Another Broken Love Song, 10,000 Hours, I didn't know what my sound was. I was making different songs. I was making island type beats. I was making pop beats to jazz beats, and I'm like, who the heck am I? But now with this Rebirth album, it's similar to that, but it's my voice on every single beat.
It's
is
So
amazing.
Hero is a
yeah.
pop song. Do You Want Me is an island Caribbean type song. Running Away is a pop rock song, and then you got Love You Like a Rose, which is a rock song that transitions to a hip hop song. So we try to keep it versatile because music, that's what music is, you know what I mean? So
Actually, I have a question then.
yeah.
I always feel like every Toronto artist gets asked this question whenever they go somewhere. But like before I used to hate that question, but it's now that I'm interviewing you, it's so relevant. Like I actually understand, I actually respect it now. Because as we all know, like Toronto is such a diverse city, right? It's one of the most multicultural places in the world. And especially in a
Mhm.
place like
Yeah.
Scarborough, like Scarborough, like you'll hear different music, bro. Like just growing up, you'll hear the Jamaican music, you'll hear Italian music, you'll hear Indian, like Bollywood, you'll hear everything. Like, so you just being in Scarborough, like most of your life, speak to the influences of just the sound of the culture of the community and people around you and how it just molded you to this person with that vision, like you said, like having those different sounds earlier and to now you have a sound but you know your voice. Like speak to that.
It's so funny how you say that, all the different sounds. So when growing up in Scarborough, we grew up, I was born and raised in Scarborough. We grew up in Chester Lee Boulevard, okay?
Yeah,
Chester Lee.
definitely. Silly.
Um, for those who know, you know, right? So Chester
Yeah.
Lee, me and my family being Middle Eastern, my parents would always play Arabic music in the house. So it's what I've known. And I just remember these Arabic songs just in my head as a kid. And at the same time, my mom loved Rod Stewart. So she'd be playing rock music. And then
Wow.
my dad would pick us up from elementary school blasting Shaggy. And I'm like, what the heck is this? I mean, this is a vibe. And then as we walked down Chester Lee, there was always these like front yard, backyard barbecues, like these
Yeah,
neighborhood
yeah, yeah.
barbecues,
I
and
remember, yeah.
they were blasting reggae music, bro.
Mhm.
And as a young kid, when you're hearing all these different things, you're trying to comprehend what the sound is, and then when you understand that this is music, this is what brings people together, this is love. It's like, how do you not get influenced by it? How do you not want to make music? How do you not want to be like, I want to be a part of this? You know? And I think that's the beautiful thing about Scarborough, Toronto, Canada as a whole. It's like it's so different, man. I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna drive to Mississauga. I'm gonna hear Arabic music on the way. If I get in my car and drive to Woodbridge right now because of the damn Euro Cups and how Italy's feeling right now, I'm probably gonna hear
Word.
some type of house song from like the early 2000s. It's You're so influenced to hear so much stuff, and I think
Yeah.
that's so beautiful, man. So
That's
definitely
amazing, man.
huge influence. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I guess my last question for you is, are you working on a project, another album per se?
Working on something, that's for sure. So with this recent project Rebirth, we put out one music video, and that was for Hero. Prior to that,
Mhm.
I've done two music videos, Ride With Me and Heaven. Heaven being the first video I've ever created. That came out September 30th last year. And we intend on making I sorry, let me correct myself. I intend on making a music video for every single song on this album.
Really?
I want to, man. It's like I'm not Drake. I'm not Justin Bieber. I'm not Chris Brown. I don't have a team selecting what I should and should not do. I
Yeah.
don't care if it gets one view or 100 views. I want to do it for the sole purpose of that's me. That's my memory. Not a legacy per se, but that's my memory.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I am writing. I'm always writing. I think I've already written 7 new songs. So it's like when I get back into the studio, I'll record them. But right now, I think what's important is I'm just taking my time, smelling the roses along the way,
Love that.
not just taking a picture and capturing the moment. I want to live in the moment. So yeah,
I love
just
that.
taking a tiny little break, and then us three get to make a song together because we heard
Hold on.
Osama's rapping skills. We know Mo knows how to write.
We'll be we'll be in your music video. I got you.
We got
It's
to
too
lock. Oh,
funny.
for sure. Yeah, man. So that's initially what's on the come up. Hopefully in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah. Let's do it.
Inshallah, man.
With that being said, bro, I do want to thank you for coming on our podcast. I genuinely enjoyed every single minute of this conversation. I feel like I've learned so much from you as even from this guy. The questions you asked us, like I feel like I'm like this guy said artists who I've never heard of. I've never even heard him say these artists. I feel like we got to know a lot more about each other. I would love for you to come back again as a guest because I
For
feel
sure, man.
like these conversations. I don't think Mo. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've had a conversation like this in so long.
No, it's been a while, and also it's pretty rare that the person that we're interviewing is actually asking us
Asking us
questions,
questions, never.
and
My
and
bad, my
questions that
bad,
are
my
actually
bad.
making us open up. So it's
No, we
beautiful,
love
right?
that.
So
We love that.
beautiful, love it.
I
No,
feel
but
like. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say you see what comes out of it. I mean, like you just said you've learned something about Mo, and you've known Mo for 20 years. You didn't know Mo loves the police, right? Not the
No.
OPP, but like
Yeah.
the band. And it's and that's what makes, man. That's what I told you. It's like I felt the brotherhood, so we're gonna have a conversation. We're not gonna have an
Yeah,
interrogation. We're
exactly.
gonna appreciate and talk, and I think that's what we did within these hour and 10 minutes so far.
No, we did. We accomplished that, man. Like, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing everything that you did with us and answering those questions
I
honestly,
appreciate it.
right?
Thank you.
It's that raw and vulnerability didn't have to at all, and we don't take it for granted. And I know the listeners don't take it for granted, so they're so thankful and super generous at the fact that you're just an open book. And at the end of the day, it's all about just being you and allowing us to learn from you, so we can be better individuals ourselves. So we're so thankful for that, man.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for having me. I
Before,
can't wait. I can't wait for this episode to be out. I can't wait to hear it.
yeah.
And God willing, one day we could do another episode and we could really talk about this stigma behind menage. But when that
That episode's coming. That episode's gonna come soon, inshallah. And we'll bring some girls to ask them why women think like that.
put me
To
on
me,
put me on that episode, right?
we
I'm
will
telling you
definitely
right
do that. Honestly, we will definitely do that. But before we let you go, my broski, shout out, tell them where they can follow you and find you. We'll definitely put your stuff in our stories in our bio.
Yeah, for sure. So once again, guys, for all streaming platforms, you can find me at Hani A. That's HANI space the letter A. That's on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, if you still use that, and on YouTube, you can find all the music videos there. Link is in my bio and their bio. So thank you guys so much again for having me. I appreciate you. Much love.